Hi, I'm Mandy Friedman, licensed professional clinical counselor, clinically certified domestic violence counselor, clinically certified trauma professional, the creator of SNAP, survivors of narcissistic and abusive personalities, and the owner of Claremont Mental Health. Today we're going to talk about how it's always just the tip of the iceberg. There's always so much more that we haven't discovered yet about this person, right? Or these people, this group, the environment. Often in sessions with people who are starting to uncover the truths about their past, their truths about the relationship that they're leaving or that they're recovering from, man, it's just more things keep coming up, don't they? The more you dig, the more you find. And then it's just shocking when you think about it later on, like, wow, I really was snowed. I really thought that I knew like where the problems were and how bad it was. And then finding out that you're wrong about that it was actually way worse than what you thought. And that leads to, that can really leave people feeling very betrayed. Also, you might feel like that you are gullible or weak. You start to judge yourself because, like, how did I not see that? It was happening right under my nose. But here's the thing. This is what they're really good at. They're the best at this. They're the best. No one's as good at this as they are. It's true, though. So what I'm going to tell you about is how do they hide their actions and motivations so well? And then also, where is the rest of the iceberg? In what areas do we find the rest of the information that winds up being like, explode your brain? So how they hide their actions and motivations. One is by controlling the narrative, and we know how they really need to control the narrative in a big way. And that can, press down some facts and truth that they're burying, and they kind of twist the story around in a way that minimizes their involvement, right? So when you control the narrative, that helps you hide things. Also, triangulation. So this has to do with controlling the narrative too, where we're pulling in third parties or entities as a way to back up the narrative, or we're planting little seeds in our triangulation interactions in order to impress upon other people, the persona the abuser wants to portray. So when you're triangulating, you're controlling the narrative, but you're also controlling people's perceptions. Also, purposeful obfuscation. And what I mean by that is being vague and murky, not giving all the information, but some of the information. You hear the story, but there's like missing parts to the story that you can't quite piece together. They will also use word salad, so it sounds like they're explaining themselves, but then later on you're like, wait, that really didn't answer the question. They also use diversion via the blame game. So, that's part of controlling the narrative, is pointing the finger at someone else. And then that way no one is digging further. So they're all, everyone's looking over here now instead of looking into the actual perpetrator. So we point the finger. Also, they have this amazing amount of malevolent creativity. And the more intelligent the abuser is, the better they are with the malevolent creativity. And so they like to have schemes and plans and plots. And sometimes they think about things for a long time before they start taking actions, right? So they put a plan together even. Or they have a very strategic way of how they go about telling the story and to whom at what time and the way they tell the story. So the tip of the iceberg is what we are shown, but what's underneath, the big part that is the major problems, the underlying problems, we often don't uncover until later, but they are using malevolent creativity to hide all of it, or to make it seem like it doesn't belong to them, that it belongs to somebody else. This isn't my mess. I didn't make this mess. Somebody else made this mess, right? That kind of stuff. Also, they are weaponizing your good nature. And this is the part that hurts so bad, is that they identify within us our desire to see the good in others, that we will believe them when, they're producing real tears and on hands and knees, that we will interpret that as them being honest. So when they get emotional or seem like they're opening up, we kind of light up to that, and we immediately will believe whatever they say if they seem like they're opening up. So, they're weaponizing the parts of your personality that make you see the good in others, but also that make you want to believe people when they tell you something. And then also feeling bad when we question that. So we don't want to make someone feel like that we don't trust them or like that we don't believe them. So, wanting the person to feel good about themselves, right? And minimizing things so that they can feel better, helping them save face even. Empathic people will jump through all kinds of hoops to help someone else feel better about themselves. And they know this about empathic people. Okay, so where do we find the rest of the iceberg, and what areas does the information come out? Well, one would be online activities. I mean, good grief. Wow. Yeah, online activities. If that's online sexual activities or dating activities, gambling, all kinds of stuff that you can do online that would be hidden, right? And things that this person might participate in, they don't want you to know about, but they have access online to sex or to, really just sex is what I'm thinking. Is the main one, is that they're using the internet for, hooking up with people, meeting new people, having full-on relationships online, actually being in committed relationships with a long-distance online partner that you're completely unaware of. So what they do online, will often be a source of the rest of the iceberg. Also, in the workplace, what goes on at their job and at work, and then they come home and they tell you, from one perspective what's going on. Later on, you find out they haven't been to work in 2 months. They've been sleeping with the nurse that they work with. It's then all of a sudden the workplace is this Pandora's box of all kinds of other things that you find out about. How much they were actually getting paid, what their position actually was, how often they were there, their attendance and performance, those sorts of things. Another place where we find the rest of the iceberg is on devices. And again, this is online activity, but on devices you can also have pictures and texts, correspondence, phone calls, video chats. So there's a lot that goes on computers and on cell phones that you would find later on and be like, holy crap, I cannot believe this is going on. Like, the person's on their phone and you're thinking they're shopping on Amazon, and actually they're having another relationship with somebody else. So we've got workplaces, online settings, devices, and then past relationships. Woo, wow. That's why they work so hard to control the narrative. That's why they work so hard to make us seem like we're crazy or we're possessive and controlling. That's why they characterize us the ways that they do. That's why that they, really don't want you to meet the ex. And they also don't want your family to talk to you about So they try to keep the past relationships hidden, or the way that they describe the nature of those relationships will be completely inaccurate. And how do we learn this? Well, the past relationships sometimes crop up. Those people reach out. There's been many stories that I have heard of previous relationships coming into the present, and then that unleashing all kinds of truths that are like, wow, the way that this person was characterized by the abuser, and then actually finding out the truth, man. I have had people that didn't know, unknowingly are dating someone new, or they're with someone who they think they're helping the target. They think they're supporting the target of abuse. And then they will join a team with the abuser to continue abuse that they don't even know is abuse. They think that the person is fighting a just battle of some sort, that, it's the crazy ex, that, the reason that this person doesn't have access to their children is because the ex is so crazy. But actually what's going on is the person doesn't have access to their kids because they shouldn't have access to their kids. This is the thing. I mean, these individuals are so duplicitous, so creative, so good at controlling the narrative and manipulating that you can't keep up with them. You really can't. It's hard to do. And that's why, you know, at the end, when you find the rest of the iceberg, it's so shocking, is that they know what they're doing when it comes to this stuff. They're way better at it than we are. That's for sure. Another place that you'll find the rest of the iceberg is in familial dynamics as well. So they will misrepresent what the familial dynamic is. They'll steer you away from a family member who they know is going to tell you the truth about them. And so when you finally learn what their family history is or what their family relationships actually are, sometimes that can be the rest of the iceberg as well. Then we have money. Where's the money going? Yeah, that's a big one. Finding out that all this money has been spent on something and, you know, or an account has been drained. Or you thought that you thought they were using the money in a certain way, but they weren't. And then you're left there with having to clean up some financial mess. Another one is sex, of course, and who they're sexually interested in and active with and pursuing. You know, you think you're monogamous, but you're not. Also their own sexual history and their sexual appetites too. You know, they can keep hidden something that is, you know, some sort of a proclivity they have towards something because it's not something you'd be interested in, and they keep it secret from you because it's something that they would want to keep secret. Also, time spent. You know, that's another place where you find truths. Is where, you know, where was the time actually spent? Oh, I was too busy, I couldn't because, or oh, I got back late and so that's why. And there's stories of like missing time and where that time went. And then they're gonna, you know, like I say, hide the truth about pretty much anything that's, you know, anything that's going to lead you to uncovering what's really going on. And they'll do it in ways that are dastardly, including pointing the finger at you. You can catch them red-handed, and then you still wind up being the one apologizing, right? So this is what I mean when I say that it's always just the tip of the iceberg. It's not meant to make you go looking, but just to let you know that if this happened to you and you uncovered all kinds of things that you didn't know were there, that you're not alone in that. And that doesn't mean that you're gullible or stupid or that you're an easy mark or anything like that. It's that, you know, they prey on people who have the qualities that would allow that kind of manipulation to go on. That you trust the person implicitly and love them, and you want to give them unconditional positive regard, respect. And so you might hear something that's a little bit, but you're going to just assume the positive. And they know this about us. And that's it for today. The blame game is going to be a different video. And I said, like, diversion via the blame game and pointing the finger. I'm definitely going to do a different video just about the blame game. But I thought that this was timely and relevant, historically speaking, that we talk about the tip of the iceberg and how that narcissistic, sociopathic, abusive, parasitic people are really good at only showing us what they want us to see and hiding the rest. Bye-bye.